Hey guys, this is Sean, and this is the Esper list that I'm going to be playing a few matches with today. So as you can see, it's a pretty standard control list. Starting with the mana base, you've got the Celestial Colonnades, which are pretty much your main kill condition in most situations. 7 fetches. Spell Snare, which there are 3 of, which is just incredibly good value. The 4-path for removal. I have a 1-up spell in here. I'm not really sure about that card. I'm still on the fence. But now that blue-red twin is starting to make a big comeback, I'm liking it in the deck. It does a lot. In the 2-drops, we have 1 of Smother, which I put in just for the added removal, which I've been pretty happy with. 4 Think Twice, which if you've seen me play the deck before or you watch the videos, you'll know. Think Twice is a staple card in this deck, and I love it. It fulfills a role, and it fulfills it very well. 2 Snapcaster Mage for value, and 2 Remand, which I think is okay. The card draw is pretty good, and I don't think we want mana leaks in that position, but it's definitely a possibility. The 1 of Deemer Charm is a slot I'm kind of testing out. The Charm does quite a bit, so I've been mostly happy with it, but I'm still not sure it belongs in that position. The 4 of Esper Charm is a staple of the deck. It's obviously fantastic. Drawing 2 cards is great, and being able to use the instant speed Mind Rot is incredible. You can really get a lot of value with the Mind Rot. I think one of the hardest parts about playing this deck is knowing when to use which mode. But either of the 2 modes is the draw or discard is fantastic, and there are those corner cases where being able to hit an enchantment is just amazing. Over here in the 4 slot, we've got the 3 Sweepers, which are integral to the deck. It's a control deck very much in that sense where you oftentimes don't stabilize until turn 4, and having a Wrath effect is a big part of that. So I think in some metagames it's completely worth going up to the full 4. And then of course the 4 Cryptic Command. This is one of the few decks that can play 4 Cryptic Commands, and I think it's absolutely correct to, without a doubt, I would never go less than 4. There are many situations and games where just chaining Cryptic Commands together will just carry you all the way through to a victory. It's an insane card. I mean, it's Cryptic Command. And, of course, we all know how insane it is with Snapcaster Mage. Now, when this deck was first built by Wafo Tapa, the only kill conditions were Celestial Colonnades and the 1 of White Sun Zenith. I have kept the 1 White Sun Zenith. I've never been incredibly impressed with it. I find there's a lot of times it's just difficult, especially in the metagame today. Things are quite fast, and online there's a ton of burn, and this card is just useless. But there are also times where if you're in a longer, grindier game, it's just a blowout, and you get to shuffle it back in if you miss. So I haven't removed it yet, but I have put in a backup win condition in Gideon here. There's a lot of junk running around. He's great for that. He's very difficult to kill, and even if they do kill him, it takes a lot of resources and time, so you will have at least bought yourself a few turns. I'm a huge fan of this card. 2 Logic Knots, which should actually be over here. They are the hard counters for the deck. So like I said earlier, where I wasn't sure if mana leaks were right in this position, the reason you can get away with not playing those, I think at least, and having the remands for tempo and card draw is because of Logic Knot. It is a hard counter. A lot of times, if you're casting it on turn 2 or 3, you will have cracked a fetched or done something that gives you that 1 extra mana. People rarely see it coming, and in the late game where you have more mana than most of your opponents, it's just a straight up hard counter. It's great. And then lastly, we have the 1 of Sphinx's Revelation, which no mysteries there. Draw cards, gain life. It can be great. Yeah, there's not much to say about Sphinx's Rev. It's excellent. Here's what I have currently in the sideboard. The sideboard I'm not really sure about right now. It's constantly in flux. In fact, if you pay close attention during the videos, you'll see I do change the sideboard at one point. I did have 2 death marks in here, but I think that was a complete overreaction. I was expecting more junk to be running around than there actually is online. So yeah, 2 death marks definitely wasn't right. But you've got the Timelies and the Spellscape, and the Rest for the Weary, which is all for the burn matchup. There's a ton of burn running around. It's everywhere online. So you need to make sure that if you're going to play a deck, that deck has to be able to beat burn. Otherwise, there's no point in playing it. Absolutely none. Because if you join the daily or an 8-man or really any event, you have to expect to run into burn. So I did just have the 2 Timelies in the Spellscape, but I like the instant speed Rest for the Weary because with a fetch land, you can gain 8 life, and you can also wait till they tap out, which is very good with Skullcracks and Flames of the Blood Hand running around. 2 Baneslayer Angel, they're good for a bunch of different matchups, but they also do help in the burn matchup. I think it's best just to take out the Gideon and the I'm blanking on the card name. White Sun Zenith, and just have a straightforward kill condition that can come down on turn 5 and start killing. There's a lot of other matchups that's good in too. Reign of Tears is mostly for the Tron matchup. Teferi is for the control matchup. You can flash him in, and it really turns off a lot of plans. Stony Silence is obviously for Affinity. Disenchant just a catch-all, also goes in against Affinity. Celestial Purge and Disenchant both work great with Blood Moon. Celestial Purge can also hit Siege Rhinos and Liliana, which is very good. This deck does not put a lot of pressure on the board, so killing Planeswalkers can sometimes be very difficult. So having something that can at least remove Liliana is very helpful. The Bribery is a card I'm not really sure about right now, but I kind of put it in just for laughs. There is a lot of tooth and nail actually online right now that I'm seeing, which is fairly new to the modern metagame. If you're not familiar with the card Tooth and Nail, you can pay 9 mana and you can search your library for 2 creature cards and put them into play. And people are using Emrakul, neither Xenagos or I think it's like Ashling Zealot, I want to say, something like that. But basically you go get Emrakul and you give him haste. So Bribery is just kind of a get ahead of Emrakul plan. I have yet to be able to steal an Emrakul with it, but I hope to one day do that. So anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the matches. I was going to originally do 3, but you will see that one of them is a bit of a washout, so I will post 4 instead. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the videos.